All right, today we are diving into something huge. We're talking about a blueprint for real, profound personal change, all based on the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. And look, this isn't just about tweaking a few bad habits. This is a practical guide to leaving your old self behind, and I mean this literally, becoming someone entirely new. So let me ask you this. Ever feel like you're just stuck on repeat? Living the same day over and over again? It's the same frustrations, the same limitations, the same voice in your head. You try so hard to change, but somehow you always end up right back where you started. Well, it turns out there's a very real scientific reason for that.
And it all comes down to this one core idea, and it's so powerful. Your personality creates your personal reality. Think about it. How you think, how you act, how you feel, that is your personality. And that personality is the magnet for the life you experience. So if you want a new life, a new reality, guess what? You need a new personality. You just can't bring the old you along for the ride.
Okay, so why is it so hard? Why do we get so incredibly stuck in these loops? Well, the answer isn't that you lack willpower. Nope. It's actually about biology and habit. So let's break down the science of this loop of you. And get ready for this, because this number is wild. Researchers estimate that a whopping 90% of your thoughts today are the exact same thoughts you had yesterday. Just let that sink in. If your thoughts create your life, and 90% of them are on repeat, then of course your life is on repeat too.
You see, we're all caught in this incredibly powerful feedback loop. It goes like this. Your same old thoughts lead to the same old choices. Those choices then drive the same behaviors. And those behaviors create the same experiences in your life, which, you guessed it, produce the exact same emotions. And what do those emotions do? They just fire up the whole cycle all over again, reinforcing your original thoughts. It's a closed circuit.
And here's where the neuroscience comes in. There's this fundamental principle. Nerve cells that fire together, wire together. Every single time you run that loop of thinking and feeling, you're physically strengthening the neural pathways in your brain. It's like paving a highway. You do this for years, and by the time you're about 35, your personality is basically hardwired. You've become a set of unconscious, automatic programs just running in the background. So breaking this cycle, it's not just a simple mental exercise. It's a real journey into the unknown. It's about confronting the deepest, most uncomfortable parts of yourself. And this is the choice we all face every single day. The old self lives in the familiar past, and yeah, even if it's painful or full of guilt, at least it's predictable, right? There's a strange comfort in that. But the new self, that lives in the unknown future. It's this incredible realm of pure possibility. But to get there, you have to be willing to embrace uncertainty and discomfort. Dr. Dispenza actually calls this transition period the void. And it's that moment you decide, I'm not going to think that thought, or I'm not going to make that choice, and your entire being just screams in resistance. It is the neurological, chemical, and even genetic death of your old identity. It feels empty and terrifying because, for a moment, you are literally no one, just floating somewhere between your past and your future. Now here's the kicker. The biggest battle you're going to fight is with your own body. After years and years of feeling the same emotions, guilt, fear, unworthiness, your body has become chemically conditioned to that state. It literally becomes the unconscious mind of your past. So when you step into that void, your body panics. It sends these urgent signals back to your brain, creating thoughts like, oh, this is too hard, or you can just start tomorrow, all in a desperate attempt to get you to feel that familiar, predictable state again. Okay, that all sounds pretty intense, right? So how do we actually do it? How do we win that battle? Let's get practical, because this isn't just a cool theory. It's a clear, repeatable process for creating a new self. The whole method can really be broken down into 3 essential steps. It's beautifully simple. First, you become conscious of that old self. Second, you mentally rehearse the new self you want to be. And third, you teach your body on an emotional level to feel your future before it even happens. So step 1 is all about becoming so familiar with your old self that you'll never go unconscious again. You start to just watch. You observe your repetitive thoughts. You notice your automatic behaviors, like reaching for your phone. You identify those familiar emotions that you live by every day. And here's the magic. The moment you can observe that programming, you are no longer in the program. You are the consciousness that's watching it. That's where your power is. All right, step 2 is mental rehearsal. This is where you close your eyes and you actually rehearse who you want to be. How would that future you think? What choices would they make in this situation? You see, your brain doesn't know the difference between a real experience and one you vividly imagine. So by doing this, you're installing new neural circuits. You are literally turning your brain from a record of the past into a map for the future. And this brings us to the final and maybe the most powerful piece of the whole puzzle. It's this question: can you believe in a future that you can't see with your senses yet? Can you fall in love with a future that you've only visited in your mind? Can you actually generate the elevated emotions of that new reality, like gratitude, joy, freedom, before you have any physical evidence for it? Because this is where everything comes together. When you combine a clear intention from your mind with an elevated emotion from your body, something absolutely incredible begins to happen. You stop chasing your future and you start attracting it. By changing your internal state, your energy, your vibration, you literally become a magnetic vortex for the future you desire. Opportunities, synchronicities, amazing coincidences, they start showing up in your life. And it's not because you're working harder or forcing things. It's because you have become a vibrational match for your new destiny. It has no choice but to find you. You might start this process to attract more wealth, or a new relationship, or a better job. And that's great. But you'll soon realize that's not the real prize. The ultimate reward is the person you become along the way. Someone who has mastered their own mind and their own body. That's true freedom. Ultimately, this whole body of work is about evolution. It's about trading the predictable familiarity of yesterday for the infinite, exciting possibility of tomorrow. The goal isn't just to create a new reality, it's to create a new self. So the final question isn't about what you're going to get, but who you will choose to become.